polarizing predictions, Matthew. No surprise. At this stage, everyone's gone a little bit loopy. But we've just seen the Washington Justice overcome one of the most impressive Paris Eternal looks that we've ever seen. Incredibly close series, but the maps, a lot of them defensively were quite one-sided, right? We saw a lot of holds going on there.
Map select was pretty big in that series, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's something we're going to be looking for here as well, and you know how the map dependency shakes out from what we actually get selected here. We've seen the Dallas Fuel struggle up against a few different compositions, right? The already real weaknesses here in this stage have been against some of those Orisa setups, but we just heard the Justice want to play mirror match against Dallas. The last team to do that was, I guess, the Shanghai Dragons, really, and at least they're the last team that really gave Dallas a challenge and ended up beating him on that setup.
And in the knockouts here, to get to Hawaii, we've actually seen the teams who have had to play the 2 match days have a lot of success versus the teams that have the higher seeds and have the 1 match. So we have seen the Justice already. They are warmed up. They're in game shape. We can take a look at their roster coming into the match, and nothing too surprising. The only thing you could have potentially have said, like, do we see the Tuba support come out at all today? We didn't see it in the first series. I think it's probably still a work in progress. So I want to see them stay on this, not move off of Decay, and bring in Jerry. Stay on this, play your game. This is when they've looked the best throughout the year.
I think, the few times that we've seen teams dabble with the compositions that Jerry would be involved in, like Ash, for example, it's been a bit difficult, right? Teams like Atlanta sort of showed that you could close the gap on, those kind of poke compositions pretty quickly and punish them. The Washington Justice, we're getting to see a little bit more of Mag's hero pool, right? I think at the start of this week, we sort of said, well, we've only really seen this Winston play. We haven't got to see him play much Reinhardt. In fact, as far as Watson was concerned, his other tanks weren't really ranked nearly as highly as his Winston. But since then, this week, we have seen Mag play a bunch more of Reinhardt, and he looked pretty darn ferocious. Looked incredibly good. I think it was against a London Spitfire, for example. But they're looking hot to trot the Washington Justice. They will be going up against the one, the only, the Dallas Fuel, who would like very much to take their 3rd trip to Hawaii in as many tournament cycles. And Matt, this is a team that has shown only a few weak spots, but correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first time they've actually had the higher seed, or they've had the
I believe so. I think the first one they made it in is like the 6th seed. The last stage, I think they played twice as well, where we see this lineup. This is where really, at the start of the season, I think they were playing, Repel maybe a little bit, but this is really kind of their bread and butter. This lineup is it, and they've been lights out since they've gone with this.
And you can see their ranks; those are by role. Their power
like
rankings by IBM Watson. Yeah, no one lower than 3, and I think Doha obviously is a bit more of a supportive individual, not one to take the spotlight. So we are set up for a pretty incredible matchup here. The Washington Justice have shown us that, although they devolve into chaos from time to time, that's definitely something that we've seen from the Fuel as well. But the Justice overcome a really powerful-looking Paris Eternal roster to get here. But to get Hawaii, they need to take on the biggest bad that exists here in the West. We're going to be heading into map number 1, the Lijiang Tower, in just a moment. And again, Johnny kind of pointed out, he feels that this is a series where maybe the meta, or what we've seen before, doesn't matter so much as the two teams just putting on their best show and taking a battle of wits and egos.
I agree. I think you can definitely see the potential for tons of Winston play. And I think if you're Dallas, you want to play the Winston, but do you want to play the Tracer? We've seen Sparkle play Tracer and be pretty good throughout the season, but taking that open invite against the player of Decay's caliber is a little bit different, right? It's a level up, as Decay, I think, is one of the best, if not, best Tracer that we have. Is the Justice looks like potentially hovering over this Reinhardt comp. This is a point where the Symmetra is very good. I mean, Symmetra gets a lot of play just in general on control, but this one, even when she wasn't consistently in the meta, this is when we would see her on.
Teams that prefer not to play May in this comp usually go for the Doomfist. And if you can spend a couple of fights where you get an insta-kill, the rocket punch on the enemy May before they can ice block, then you're probably going to win the round. So Dallas has taken what is arguably the riskier approach here as that Doomfist gets caught out in the open. It is lights out for Sparkle. He goes in though, the Sentry Turret, and that's an early pick. That's exactly what they need. Keeping him alive would have been even better, but the Immortality Field did get forced from Bebe. Han been frozen up briefly, but he's not bothered, and Mag is just clambered upon by the D.Va.
Dallas gets aggressive, just barrels on through. Somehow they're going to be able to keep Fearless alive there. Nice teleporter usage as they'll double back to the point. For me, I would have loved to see Dallas play the point with the Doomfist, right? But they end up taking the fight right to the Washington Justice, and they're able to get the Symmetra right away, which is such a large source of damage.
You feel like it's easy to get punches on the point? Is that your point?
Yeah. Well, now the case switches over to Reaper, so no Symmetra, no possibilities of a teleporter, but just more upfront damage here.
Well, and crucially, can quickly pop in a Wraith Walk if he sees a rocket punch heading in his direction. You have plenty of time to respond to that. Blizzard thrown on the back side of the wall. It's still going to affect the Dallas Fuel, though. Fearless gets in the Immortality field, but Assassin was waiting behind him. It may not matter, though. Sparkle's been able to pick Bebe out of the field, and he's found his second already. Finding the may not be a big deal. He's already found 2 kills, and with Mag going down, it's the Sparkle show.
His Doomfist is looking great here at the beginning of this series as Dallas gets another hold. I believe it was a teleporter that ended up setting up a Ant Matrix that was behind the Justice, with Fielder putting down some extra damage from the opposite side. Teleporter up to the high ground. They're going to take this fight right to the Justice.
Meteor Strike. Sparkle waits out as much of the sound barrier as he possibly can, but he knows he needs to get back into the fray as soon as he can. Unfortunately, it's still too late. Immortality field is up, and a tough one for him to get past Bebe's Immortality.
They had to do so much, though. Ant Matrix, Sound Barrier. They ended up using a Shatter during that. That's going to be Fearless's Shatter, just connecting with Assassin. The Justice should be able to flip this point. Some members for the Dallas Fuel just trying to stay on here. The contestant keeps sending it deeper and deeper towards that 99.
Steely gaze on his face. Mag knows this is going to be one of the toughest matchups that main tank is going to have, especially in the Reinhardt battle. This has absolutely been Fearless's turf that he's carved out. We've only recently started to see more Ryan from Mag in this tournament cycle. 11% and counting on the clock.
Well, you should be able to rattle off a decent amount of percentage here if you're Washington. No ultimates available for the Dallas Fuel. They have a few junk fights potentially on the table. Washington's smart, conserve some of these. They could be able to take this to a tie game.
Shatter from Mag. Maybe he expects some sort of hijinks behind him from the teleporter play. No one is there, though. Great deterrent, though, I'm sure. Decay's going to get cut down, though. Tries to go for the Death Blossom, but Fielder picks him in the middle of it. Dallas still don't have control of the point quite yet, but Fearless is back, and they're at a player advantage.
Yeah, that was quite unnecessary there for Decay to go in that deep, but it's going to be Mag who takes out Fearless right at the start. So you get the main tank again here. There's some big kills coming up on a Fearless early.
Yeah. Sparkle, I think, had to move away from the self-destruct. He had nowhere to hide, really. He ended up running headlong into Assassin. Matt, like you said, the Justice were in a great spot to get some of that percentage ticking along. Doha switching over towards the May now. It's Doomfist and May for Dallas.
Yeah, and I think you're probably only staying on this Doomfist because you're close to the Meteor Strike. Having that ultimate to kind of let Sparkle go in, try and get a kill, and then get out to safety. This is going to be Sound Barrier to kick things off for the Justice.
Assassin wants to harass Hanbin here. Maybe make it easy for him to get a Blizzard if the mech is frozen, but he couldn't find it. This could be dangerous now. It is eaten anyway. Hanbin has that one for dinner, and Sparkle's already fallen to the Reaper guy. Mag is in trouble, though. No one was there to heal him, and Fury was busy dealing with his opposite number. He's eventually going to be desuited here, so despite the first casualty in the round, the Fuel looked tooled to retake.
Yeah, but like I mentioned in the previous fight, when the Justice were able to take the point back, they had enough ultimates stockpiled, and there was nothing on the side of the Dallas Fuel to get this to even.
Shut up!
What? Oh, they did not expect Mag to stay.
3 for that. Beautiful stuff, but Fearless is able to pick himself off the ground. An Immortality field from the Dallas Fuel. It's a fantastic shatter from Washington, but Dallas have the answer.
So Mag tried to make the play there. It's a massive shatter as he kind of expects the Dallas Fuel to charge on through. They knew that they were getting close to 99, maybe pick up a few players coming out of the spawn, just trying to contest. Mag with a big shatter, but Dallas, just too many players, right? Not enough damage just from Mag. I think there was maybe one other player there to try and take those players of Dallas Fuel out, and they'll secure the round.
Crucially, Matt, if I'm not mistaken, both Jexa and Fielder did not get shattered. I think maybe it was Jexa, but I mean, Doha, Hanbin, Jexa, I want to say. Fielder was there with the Immortality Field, and that was enough time for Jexa to get a sound barrier. The Dallas Field picked himself off the ground. I think Fields went for a counter shatter there. You love the playmaking from Mag, up against a arguably more seasoned opponent. He really goes for it there, and it's just so close. But not quite enough to get the Justice that first round, and we're back now in the Garden. Sparkle's still on the Doomfist here. Immortality Fields are down, and that's the first casualty. It's the Doom for Dallas out of the picture.
Washington is able to get an advantage in some of these fights, where this is a series that I think will be closer than most people expected. The Justice will take the point first here, but they have the individual player skill to win a series like this, right? With Mag and Fury, and how well Decay and Assassin are. The support line has played better than I think some predicted going into the season. It's just the consistency from point to point. You saw them rally off a few fights in our last one, not enough to win that point. They start off with a point here first, so see if they can sort of rattle together these ultimates, cycle them up and take this round.
That's a great wall. It's going to section off a lot of the Dallas players, and Doha catches the broadside of the shatter. Firestrike was there to follow it up. Dallas commit, by the looks of things, a shatter and an amp matrix for nothing.
That's totally fine though, because if you're a Justice fan, you only commit your amp matrix and shatter as well, so we stay on even footing across the board. Sparkle will now play May, so they want to move away from the Doomfist already, and have match the Symmetra and the May setup, which I think this bodes well for Washington. Although Dallas has looked great on this setup, we've been seeing a lot of Sparkle on the Symmetra and Doha on the May. This is going to be a wall that comes through from Assassin. Doesn't split them off. They still use the teleporter.
Yeah, teleporter would have got them past the wall, but it would have been deep in enemy lines. Too risky. It got removed at the start of the fight anyway. Assassin, he's in a churling mass of players. Venn diagram of solitude, I guess, with the Immortality Fields in play, but they're both removed. Here's the TP. Fury going to use that one just to reposition a little bit, but Decay can't get past the self-destruct until 75. And counting on the clock for the Justice, the Dallas Fuel Man have been pretty impotent this round. And Mag's looking at another Earth Shadow to potentially end it.
Yeah, I mean, Shatter plus the Amp Matrix again, and you have your Blizzard as Assassin held onto it in that previous fight. The Blizzard forces a sound barrier, and then you have all of that damage with the Amp Matrix to put it away.
97. It's go time for the Dallas Fuel. Another wall comes up on the right side. It's going to be an Amp Matrix, and Fearless can do nothing but keep his shield up. He drops it at the wrong time. He and Hanbin both get stunned. The Blizzard's in play for Assassin here, and Fearless couldn't do a damn thing about it. Sparkle's trying to build up a Blizzard of his own, but he never quite got there. He's taken down by Fury, and the self-destruct adds injury to injury. There's nothing left for the Dallas Field to work with here as Fielder's going to get bundled off of the point. What a response. What a comeback here. It's a shutout in round 2 of Lijiang for the Justice.
And so many times when we talk about the Dallas Fuel, the thing that everybody brings up, and I've heard Johnny and Scott mention it on the desk a ton, is that they force other teams to play their game. No, there was no adjustment needed for the Washington Justice when they see the Symmetra and either the May and the Doomfist, right? They play the Symmetra, they make that work to great effect, and now Dallas is the team that has to adjust. They're the team on the back foot, and then you have Sparkle on the May, which he can play, but that's not their preferred setup if they're going to run that. As you see, coming into this final round, Sparkle will potentially pick up the Symmetra dudes.
That's stunning stuff from Mag. He just went for it. Very, very good. I mean, he had to deal with Hardy playing a ridiculous Reinhardt recently. Having to take that matchup was probably good conditioning for this one. Bit of damage there on Doha early on. You can see this trade was in favor of the Fuel, though. Immortality Field has to be used, but after that, Mag is taken down. Fury is desuited. Dallas are back with a vengeance here, Matt. Closer, normally the very safe support player, actually gets involved, gets that kill on the desuited Hanbin. And Decay in a late fight, this could be a little dangerous. Fury wants a remake, he'll have it! Not quite.
Yes, at the beginning, Mag just took so much damage. Assassin trying to take out Doha, connects with one icicle, but Mag takes so much damage, and then Fury tries to go in to help him. With the defense matrix, they get the Immortality Field, but both of the tanks on the Justice got just chunked down so hard at the beginning that the support's not able to keep them alive.
Good start for the Dallas Fuel. A very close fight, though. because it's a world where the Justice don't lose their main tank so early. Very different story. Okay, Amplification Matrix come up from both sides. No, sorry, just the fuel. Mag gonna go down straight away though. That's fuel to find in the finish on the kill. The Immortality field removed so quickly by Jexa. And that fight's over before it begins.
Yes, you get Sparkle on the Symmetra, start to get him charged up, and Doha can play the Mei, which he's so good at. So it's an Amp Matrix that wins that fight for Dallas, and then the aggression on through that. You're going to have a Shatter here, as Mag tried to go for the Shatter on that encounter, so you won't have that available for Washington. You see Fearless just looking around the corner with that shield up. This will be a blizzard for both sides.
Fearless gets caught though. Mag swoops on in despite the blizzard, knowing that he would get frozen, but knew he'd have time to get the charge kill before he was made frosty. That's huge. 3 players from Washington get frozen, but Dallas, without Fearless in the mix and being walled away, can't do anything about it.
Yes, Hanbin will get DMEC. This will be a point flip for Washington. So, a big fight. Those sound barriers on both sides. Blizzard on both. Mag gets that charge through the Blizzard, like you mentioned. He's done that a few times already in this series. Been able to get those charge kills onto Fearless while the Blizzard's coming down before they were getting fully frozen. As Dallas, come on in. They have an Amp Matrix to use here. So, see, they TP to the high ground and use it there.
Can they get value though? Wall thrown up to block both Amp Matrixes. Self-destruct, so they fire one each. Jexa crucially goes down for the Dallas fuel though. Sparkle gonna drop to decay. There's less healing and now there's less personnel in general left for Dallas. And honestly, a hard-fought fight for the Justice. It's a quick one, but they spend a lot. They really had to win that.
They have to win just about all of these from here on out, right? This Justice also, as you notice, I'm sure you noticed, like, they are not playing as aggressive as the Dallas Fuels do, right? Remember when Dallas had control of the point? They were using the speed boost, pushing right onto them. The Justice are very much a reactive team, wanting Dallas to be the one that makes the move and then try and find a mistake or a player out in that scenario.
You can see Dallas again, Matt, just as you explained. They get aggressive, they go forward. The Justice try and fold back. The light show on the point here. A lot of walls going up, but a Blizzard Crucial is going to catch Fearless, and then Immortality Field is down. So falls a stalwart defender at the fuel in the front line. And now it's getting dangerous for Dallas. They spent in the wall, but that's it.
It's a dangerous series. It's like the Justice have been wildly inconsistent throughout the season. But when you look at the talent on this roster, you can definitely say they should be one of the best teams in the league with the players they have. Where all they have to do is win one game, 3 maps. You do not want to see a team like this today.
Go time. Blizzard down for Doha. It doesn't get eaten up, so now the party starts for Dallas. Immortality Field was there, but Mag is charged out of it. Somehow he's still alive, and the sound barrier is going to prolong that even further closer. It's just what the Doctor ordered, but it still can't keep Mag standing. Fearless, indomitable aggression eventually overpowers the enemy main tank, and he's holding the Shatter in reserve. The fight's not quite done yet. Assassin getting involved, gets rid of Sparkle, so Fearless has to let this go now. He'll get decayed, he'll end it for real, but Dallas need to win another.
Yeah, and Washington holds onto their sound barrier even like through the Blizzard when Closer could have actually dropped it. They opt to use it a little bit later, which potentially could have been the difference in winning. Yeah, it does keep Mag alive, but I know you wonder a little bit more reactionary and aggressive. You could win it, but you set yourself up for a fantastic spot here if you're Washington. You have to win one fight. You have 4 ultimates on the table.
Mag. Oh, he's absolutely unhinged, Matt. I can't believe what I've just seen. Buddy hops forward and MTDs the heck out of Fearless. Dallas nowhere to be seen. That is absolutely disgusting. Now in overtime, Decay controls the high ground. Heartbeat is still reeling. Has to find a way to try and keep this stalled out. Fearless moves up on the wrecking ball. There's a self-destruct on the high ground. Maybe more for a remake than anything else, but Dallas, they are tottering, Matthew. No idea what they've just been hit by, and I don't blame them. Blizzard eaten up. Doha gets nothing out of that one. Perfect execution from the Justice. Oh, mate, we've got a series.
Well, the biggest thing that you can take from this map 1 is we've talked about how Mag has not looked the best at times on the Reinhardt. And coming up with some huge shatters and being able to play Fearless even in that category, with that hero would be huge for the Justice's chances in this matchup.
Washington We knew this would be a danger game for the Dallas Fuel, and Mag is up to the challenge. He wants the title of King of the Tanks, and he's here to take it. Oh, Dallas. Well, they look pretty crestfallen, and you can't blame them. There's plenty more series still to play, though, and the Fuel, I'm sure, have plenty left in that playbook. Lijiang Tower was close. First round looked pretty darn good for Dallas, and that second one, though, that's where the wind really gets taken out of their sails. Playing around Mag, it helps to have such a safe support like closer there to keep those sound barriers coming. Ridiculous shatter, incredible Ryan play, more of it to come, I'm sure, so don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Should come as no surprise to any of you that 4 of our DPS players involved in this match are in fact here in our top rankings. Decay Doha and Sparkle, rather, fit snugly within that top 6, and Assassin obviously a little outside that, but we know that Assassin obviously shows much of his talents on roles like the Sombra, which don't always translate into these high-flying sort of individual showings. I'll be honest, Matt. I mean, he looks incredible alongside Decay in that first map. There's a lot of May play, right? It's chaotic to watch, a lot of Symmetra as well. So naturally the eyes shift towards the Ryans as they try and battle it out amongst all these barriers. The Justice looked a cut above in that map.
Something I was wondering, I talked about it before the match began, was would we see something like Tuba today for the Justice, where they've been kind of using him in the support role, which they do. They bring him in for closer, which is very interesting. It's a new sub that the Justice have been messing around with. We've seen lots of teams kind of use some of their bench players in interesting roles this season. As Volskaya is the next map, you do end up losing your best Lucio player here, right? So Closer is the better of the Lucios, right? He's the main support, through and through. Tuba, kind of trying to play the Brigitte role, probably.
Yes. And as it was mentioned, Closer is, I think he's in the top, I want to say 6th, or somewhere in the top 10 in support sort of power rankings. Very safe. I keep mentioning it, but he has the lowest deaths per 10 on Lucio coming into this week by far, like 3.5, which is, for a team that's lost plenty of games, Matt, that's pretty darn good. A lot of times, like, your Lucios just get batted around and losing matches fairly often. But again, Tuba comes in. We expected him to play the Brig, I think, like you highlighted, but he looks a lot more aggressive. We definitely saw him play quite far forward on occasion in the Justice previous matches on that Brigitte. I guess, you can never really lose that quality as a Genji player. But that's nice to give the Justice a different gear here, Matt.
Yeah, we did see him play some Lucio on the game that we casted on Eichenwald, where we saw him come into play. So he can play the Lucio. It may just not be what he's in for. He can maybe flex over to it and make it work. Where Dallas on defense, and now they go with a Winston-based setup with Fielder on the Ana. So this is something that I believe Washington will be totally fine with and want to play something similar or match that. Where you looked at both of these teams, you actually probably favor Dallas Fuel and the Reinhardt-based compositions with how the Justice have looked, and then maybe you would even say the Justice can get on par on a good day with Dallas on the Winston-based stuff. But Justice able to take map 1 playing a lot of Reinhardt. So this may bode well for the Justice here, this composition on map number 2.
Definitely saw Mag play very aggressively to try and catch Fearless off guard, and it worked actually more than it did. Good sign for the Justice moving forward. And now they get to have Decay on this Tracer role. We don't give Sparkle a ton of credit sometimes in the Tracer regard, but he's constantly... Oh, okay. Well, that's a 4-player biotic grenade. We'll see if there's any follow-up there, but that's just classic Fielder from across the map stuff. But Sparkle gets matched up against top Tracers all the time and is often at least matching them here. So we really do need to start talking about him as an individual to be respected on that Tracer role, even if he wasn't famed for it coming into the league. See these short dives, man. The Justice trying to force some kind of action here out of Dallas. They're not really getting it.
Well, they get a bio grenade on Hanbin, and they get him low. It's going to force him down to the Mega. So maybe they'll be able to stand up and take some position on the point, but Mag gets hacked, so they're not able to do that yet.
I don't think Fielder could actually see Hanbin for the moment. He had to go inside the room or somewhere. He was out of position in terms of healing his Diva. So it's going to be an Animus here on towards Fearless. Mag may get given that in a moment here. That sleep was short-lived, and it's going to let Fearless go for the primal. He knew the Bebe's defenses were down. The key cooldown used maybe a little wastefully on Fearless there.
Well, you still have some players here in the fight for the Justice. Like, you still may be able to keep this going as Pulse Bomb comes out from Decay, doesn't connect with much. You have a duplicate here available for Assassin. Do you give up now that you've lost Tuba? You probably have to, yes. Players either trying to get out with their life or die right away. Fury will head to the side.
So we're talking about Stats Maestro, Mapcell, sort of just before this game, and he said he's seen a ton of Tracer sticks almost get interrupted. The animation of her actually just lobbing the Pulse Bomb by shield bashes. So we're eventually going to get one of those, so keep your eyes out for it. There it was very close. Tuba charged forward. I think he tried to catch Sparkle with the Pulse after it got stuck on the shield, but Sparkle was in recall animation. We saw Decay do that earlier today. And again, legitimate Tracer matchup, this one. Quite a spicy one. Bebe's got that nano boost, and Fielder has another one. So he's lapped Bebe in terms of nanos. Let's see what happens here with the Winston copied by Assassin.
He takes so much damage trying to go up to the high ground. The rally and the nano come out here for the Justice, though, as the EMP doesn't hit the supports.
Assassin's able to burn Jaxa down, though. Dallas took a moment to wait, and then as soon as they push up, they're eliminated. Sparkle and Doha get absolutely chunked down, and Assassin has yet another focusing beam in reserve for Fearless. Fielder gives a good account of himself from the high ground, but eventually he will be chased down and pacified, and the Justice will have point A.
And it's the timing and the positioning from the supports. Tuba has the rally. The second the EMP goes off around the corner, Bebe uses the nano onto Assassin, who's coming out of the duplicate. And the EMP doesn't hit either of the supports. They probably felt like they had burned down one of the players on the point with the EMP. They threw the other players coming in with the support ults for the Dallas Shield. They're not able to make that happen, and now they have to put an Echo into the mix.
Doha on the Echo. I've seen plenty of it from Dallas in the past. He and Sparkle have traded that role. Let's see what they can get done with it here. Decay knows there's no shield bash available. The stick is good. That's another one. This time from the Justice on the Jexa. Doha's able to equalize though elsewhere. Finding Assassin is good, but Decay chases him down. Decay, unreal impact in the fight in two very distinct different locations, and Fearless has slept before he can touch the ground. Let Sleeping Lions lie perhaps. No, instead he's going to get skinned. Tuba's able to finish the job there, but Decay's been huge in this previous fight. Remech now for Fury. As Bebe has a nano boost, he's going to deliver it to Mag this time, who has a Primal in reserve. This is looking dangerous for Dallas, but Sparkle somehow able to pick Bebe out of the mix. That's some hair-raising risk-taking here.
Yeah, and it's going to be a Primal Rage for Mag as they still want to try and fight this, but yeah, players have dove in all the way into the back line. It's going to be Fearless on the Wrecking Ball. And you had Sparkle there, and then it's duplicating Doha, which pushes the rest of the members of the Justice out. The Justice able to get 55% here on that attack. Definitely got scary there for the Dallas Fuel.
If Sparkle doesn't just go above and beyond in that fight, it could have been even worse for Dallas. Incredible Tracer play there from both teams so far. Fearless looks like he's going to try and get Fielder a little bit of ult charge. Decay again has another pulse bomb. It's every fight at this rate. Another kill on Jexa could be devastating, but Tuba's already gone down. And that changes the equation a little bit here for the Justice. They've also lost Assassin, and Hanbin knows there's an Ana here stuck inside the room. Bebe cannot escape. Hanbin is inexorable.
Yeah, nothing you can do after you lose Bebe there, as Fury trying to make it towards the edge. They'll take him out before he can even get there. 1:59 on the clock. You have a pulse bomb and the duplicate here, as Decay is trying to constantly work around that outside, try and find whether it be Jexa or Fielder. I think he really wants Fielder, but Jexa just doing a great job of defending just on that top side. So he's been doing this constantly, just blinking over the side. Has to be careful, like a whip shot. Jexa he comes across, but yeah, Jexa goes for the whip shot, misses it there.
That's the real 1v1. Decay versus Jexa and Sparkle versus Tuba simultaneously. Shield Bash closes the gap. Decay, okay, you still went for it. Fielder's going to finish the job, so Decay maybe, well, clearly overstays his welcome a little bit there. Trying to need a backup to Jexa to try and get rid of the enemy Tracer, and Assassin will just back here.
And I wonder if there's just something else they can do. Like, you can't just kind of keep barreling Decay through the same route over and over and over again. In the hope and dream that he gets the kill on the support or takes out both supports, like we've seen him do.
Pretty high percentage play, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, fairly high percentage, but still, you can't rely on it constantly. This will be a nano on a Mag. He jumps onto the point, but Dallas doesn't care. They just push on through.
I think Mag was trying to get Fielder, but he couldn't reach him at all, and he ends up just giving so much time for Dallas to respond to this primal, this nano-boosted Winston play. There might be a primal in a moment if Mag has his way. Fearless has respawned back into play. Looks like the Justice get forces back.
And I don't know if they're going to be able to take this.
Badly.
Well, he's done that jump a few times where he's landed on the point with the nano. Where they haven't exactly gone for the high ground. It's a pretty easy sleep dart, I think. Going to go all the way to the high
maybe
ground.
trying to bait the dart there. Benefit of the doubt.
He's got Primal Rally to touch.
Oh, heck, here we go again, says Decay. Once more, he'll be looking for the Brigitte. An easy stick on Hanbin. Goes begging. Sleep dart, that is massive. Mag, oh no! He's churning out Z's, but Decay is churning out pulse bombs. He's going to have to recall there. They've already lost Tuba. Another sleep on the Fearless. But he got into the back. He's still in Primal Rage now. And despite being hacked, Assassin couldn't do anything to stop him from being impactful either way. Now he returns to the point. He'll shelter inside his bubble for a while, but there was no healing available for Fury. Now again, it's going to be up to Decay. Self-destruct creates a little bit of space and no chance, Matt, to touch the point. That's 55.6 and nothing more for the Justice.
Yeah, you saw Fielder land that sleep dart onto Mag the time that he actually tried to get up to the high ground. Fortunately for the Justice, you did get 55% on the point, so you do have a win condition here without having to hold the entire map. What will they go with on defense? We potentially could see them play like a Tracer Sombra if they wanted to. Maybe they come out with the Echo look on defense. I think if you're Dallas Fuel, you probably try and play the Echo on offense here, at least for the first point. The Sombra on the attack on A isn't the... I mean, you can make it work, right? But it's not the best. The Echo, especially with the verticality, provides a lot.
On defense, no big changes here for the Justice. I mean, tough to be the Brigitte player on either team in this matchup, kind of knowing that despite your kit being well tooled against flankers, you're going up against two Tracers who will play the mind game with you. They'll sort of tease those cooldowns out of you and then go in for the kill. That's what we saw Decay do multiple times. Just sort of, okay, is he going to shield bash me? Is he going to whip shot me? No, look, let's be fair. Not easy for the Tracer players, but these are absolute top of their class Tracers. So
well, also, I mean, Tuba's a fairly new brig, right?
As far as we know, yeah.
As far as we know, yeah. We haven't seen him in the league play a ton of brig, really only like a game or two. Where now he's playing here and an opportunity to go to Hawaii against the Dallas Fuel, who have played in both finals. It's a large task to undertake.
So Dallas, they probably get the preferred matchup here, not having to deal with any Orisa nonsense. This is how they like to play the game. The Justice, like we speculated, are matching them. Okay, drop down into the Mega Room now. Assassin's pretty low and Fearless wants to keep the pressure up. It's going to force him to shelter inside. So now there's no enemy Echo in play. Doha can look to use his focusing beam on support, but that is a stunning sleep dart. This could be dangerous. Still good. Space control for Dallas means that there's not really there to get Doha. It's too risky for the Justice to sally forth to remove the downed Echo. There's a Pulse Bomb ready for Sparkle now. These have been crucial. He doesn't need to use it on Tuba though, which means now he gets to party a little more. Mag is going to try and get away. Surely the Pulse Bomb's meant for him, but Assassin in the meantime gets rid of Dallas Fuel's main healer, and Fury gets through with the knockoff. Oh no! It's falling apart for Dallas here, Matt.
Well, Decay and Assassin were putting so much damage down behind the enemy lines. Like, Fielder had to end up using his Biotic Grenade to keep himself up. And they nanoed Fearless to try and push him through deep even after they got the kill on the Tuba. But they were able to find one with the focusing beam. Decay finds another. And then when the players for Dallas just kind of have to make a decision because they're stuck between two sections of players, they push on forward. And you see these kills come up pretty easy here for Fury.
Ah, yes. That old chestnut. It's an early ice bar. Sparkle, that's the sleep. Drawn out, still. Plenty of reason for Sparkle to be concerned.
They get recall, so he can't go in. Yeah, you can't go in. They get recall, so just that damage buys some time.
2 seconds now. Sparkle can go back in. Thinking about looking for the supports. He's getting harassed by everyone right now. Sparkle
big Biotic Grenade.
Jax can't hang on. Yep, Sticky Bob's going to claim him in the end, and Assassin was looking for a little more. Oh, there it is! The Pulse on Bebe gets that kill. Assassin now really has to step up. Fielder goes down, so neither team has any supports whatsoever. But losing Decay here really hurts. Mag can buy some time with Primal, but he's not really doing much on the point. He tries to get there, but he's knocked off course, trying to chase the Tracer down, but Sparkle slithers away to safety. He'll have recall available now too. And Mag has no choice. He has to stand on the point and hope that Assassin can build a Pulse Bomb quickly enough to get rid of one of these tanks, but oh, so tantalizingly close to the Tracer ultimate that could have broken the deadlock. He doesn't get it. And now the Justice have to back up real quick.
And that looked like one at the beginning where the Justice are going to be able to win that pretty easily. Bebe hits a 3-player Biotic Grenade with connecting on, I believe it's Hanbin, Jexay, and Fielder. And they get one, the Justice, but they're not able to track down both of the other players. It's Decay and Mag roaming there at the time.
Decay sees so much defense matrices there, tries to pick a gap and still loses his Pulse Bomb. Hanbin covers so much of that space. Now Jexer and Fielder probably feel a lot more safe, but the Justice couldn't be saying the same for them. Oh no. Start on Doha, briefly, but he's well protected by the body of Fearless, and now he'll push up, get rid of Mag. Focusing beam hardly required, and Dallas have the numbers now to make something real happen here. See Fury's pushed back too busy with the Vita Grenade for the time being, so those rally procs or the Inspire procs won't be helping him right now. And there's a duplicate on the line for Doha if he can stay up, Matt.
Yeah, and then they have Mag with a Primal Rage, and he actually gets slept over by the choke, and Dallas trying to take advantage of this. They take out Bebe from behind. There goes Tuba, as Dallas will take the point and map number 2.
Looked like it'd be a decent shout for the Justice on defense there. They're playing a, Winston double flanker composition against each other, so always pretty volatile. But eventually Dallas come up with the goods there. It's a big pulse bomb connection by Sparkle onto Bebe that finally cracks them open. And then onwards that second point, a bit of snowball still happens at this level apparently. Nicely done from the Dallas field here to even up the series. They look much recovered after the drubbing they suffered in map number 1. So, with an even series, we'll head to a break and return momentarily for map 3.
You look tired. You're powered up. Get in there.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
right, it's summertime indeed, everybody. We've been a huge fan of all of your artistic creations this season on our fan art gallery by Coca-Cola. For the Summer Showdown, you can submit your summer-themed art celebrating Overwatch League and Coca-Cola for a chance to be featured. You can submit your art at overwatchleague.com/art-gallery. And there have been some moments here in this series that have already been worth immortalizing in whatever medium you might choose, Matt. An exciting map one. We turn around to see a Volskaya Industries where Dallas, with a different complement, reinvigorated playing that Winston Diva setup with their dive. And they make it look good, especially on point B.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a sub that comes in here for the Justice, so the Tuba support experiment kind of continues on some maps, but now we have Closer coming back in for Kings Row, as you most certainly need a Lucio for Kings Row with some of the tight and long chokes and kind of the windy streets that you have to deal with. Speed here is a must.
Absolutely. The Brig matchup was an interesting one. I think we often talk about, comparing players on Vegeta, but when we get into game, it really is Brig versus the enemy Tracer or something like that. Here's our map leaderboard presented by Xfinity, and you will see that the Washington Justice, they handed a fat L to the Shock on this particular map, and in 2020, that's pretty crazy to see that. So, sometimes we see these sort of, leaderboard times, and maybe some of them aren't compelling. That one should be, considering the quality of that San Francisco Shock.
Yeah, I wonder what happened in that game. I wonder if it was the Decay, the Decay Roadhog Zarya tank line with Janu.
That's a good look, that one. I remember that well, Matthew. Obviously, very retooled look here for the Washington Justice compared to last year. And while maybe a leaderboard time might not exactly, be up for grabs here, a second map for either of these teams definitely is, and a chance to push this affair to a match point scenario would be huge. For the first time, Dallas are actually coming in as the #1 seed here in our knockouts. Normally, they fight their way back from as low as 6th, as it was in the Mayhem LA. This time they have the curse, I guess, as it has been, of only getting to play one game on the knockout day.
which in theory should be way easier. You get to watch two teams play. You get to watch what maps they select, what they're trying to do on all of these maps. You get to sleep in a little bit. But it has not worked out that way in North America. APAC, I would say it works out, but that's just because Shanghai gets #1 every time.
Actually, Atlanta had to play 2 back-to-back, right? In the June Joust finals, and obviously that was a slog for them. But from our data, the more matches you have, the better you're expected to perform, it seems. Reinhardt compositions for both teams. It's going to be mirrors, the Symmetra May setup.
It's so interesting how before the series we talked about both of these teams potentially wanting to play a lot more of the Winston-based setups, and the Justice and Dallas are both willing to match in this Symmetra Rhine mirror.
Well, Dallas, I mean, that's how they get their first victory in the Mayhem LA with the Orion comp. Or it seems that way. Fearless eventually going to fall there. That Immortality Field couldn't keep him alive. That's astonishing to me, Matt. Look how early the Justice's Immortality Field got removed, and still they survived.
Yeah, and I saw the TP go behind the Dallas Fuel from Washington. I wonder if there was any damage put down coming on through there, as we see Hanbin going to have to reset his ult charge. That's very unfortunate. I know self-destruct not the craziest ultimate in this meta, but still impactful for clearing players out of certain areas. Is Dallas with the same type of attempt. They go through Hotel. Now they're going to try and take this point, position on the point from the backside.
That TP will be there. Yeah, it's in case the wall comes up, I think, and they need to abscond quickly, perhaps. Symmetra Wall's going to be in play as well. Matt coming off second best this time, though, but Doha's Blizzard isn't going to be a factor in this fight. Assassin's holding on to his. He had to because he was in Ice Block, and now he won't actually have a chance to use it because he pops out of that defensive ability and gets blown up instantly by Hanbin. I love that Fury trying to nudge his little self-destruct as far forward as possible, but Dallas were wise to it, Matt.
Yeah, as the Justice are going to have to fall back. They'll have to give up this first point, but it looked like for a second they were going to be able to win that. You know, when the Blizzard gets eaten, it's a huge play by Fury. It's just everybody from Dallas charging forward and putting down so much damage, and they're not able to disengage. maybe they chose to try and stand there and fight it. Maybe thought about even using a Blizzard of their own. But they come into this next fight with a Blizzard of their own in the Sound Barrier, which they can use to really sort to put together a good hold at this choke.
Yeah, I'm watching Assassin. Look at him positioned towards the very back of formation here. No Blizzard quite yet. Assassin doesn't want to have to ice spot because then he won't have a chance to necessarily use it. Shatter from Fearless finds nothing. Hard to really find purchase, but Mag makes me look like a fool, and maybe the two players that he down there. They're able to get up though with the Sound Barrier. Fielder and Sparkle frozen solid though.
Well, it's big that they get the Shatter out first. Is you see, it's just the Decay mowing everybody down with the Symmetra. But Mag able to land that Shatter, and you see he leaves with like basically no health. When he nails the Shatter, that forces Jexay to use Sound Barrier. As soon as the Sound Barrier comes out, that's when the Blizzard comes down. They don't want to be forced in a position, the Justice, where they have to use the Blizzard, the Sound Barrier comes out, everybody lives through it, and then they have to try and get a Shatter against everybody at full HP. So landing at least a few players with that Shatter is huge for Mag. Is Justice going to take a fight from the high ground, dropping down low?
Yeah, Fielder has to be on the same side of that wall as his team, and he's not at all. He can throw an Immortality Field through it. That wall prevents a large amount of what he's trying to do. I guess he's trying to damage it in some way, and his team survives. Matt, how is it possible? How does he heal his team from there?
It's a very odd. I'm not sure the wall was the best because the card is kind of moving past the wall where.
Right, but he was on the other side of the Sim Barrier from his team, right? It was only healing from Jexay they could have got.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looked like at that time. Possibly some Immortality Field.
Yeah,
just kind of keeping them alive. They're not able to touch. I was gonna say, I was like, the wall is there, and the main wall as well, and Fury not able to get the touch on the cart. So there goes your second point defense for the Justice.
Oh, that's heartbreaking, Matt. That is really unfortunate. The Justice invested very heavily in the fight and just, around the tavern. And they're unable to come and defend again. This is going to hurt now. Dallas come back. Shatters for both teams. Self-destructs for both as well. We should have Sound Barriers in play. Another Shatter from Fearless. Doesn't quite hit the mark. Gets two. The one from Mag was pretty scary. Fearless is able to pick himself up though and go for it. Already 50% to his next Shatter. That Immortality Field play that was just perfect from Bebe. Perfect.
And I am so surprised that one, the Justice are taking this matchup because we've seen them play the best on other versions of compositions, really kind of built around the main tank. But the supports really have done a tremendous job keeping Mag alive. Time and time again, we've seen him dwindle down to basically no HP. That's an Amp Matrix there that they try and bait around the corner.
They know Doha's there. They called him.
Yeah.
Can Doha get out of this? I mean, Dallas have to commit. Oh, okay, they do commit, and they catch Decay and Mag. So while the Justice thought they could collapse on Doha, the Dallas Fuel had other plans, and Sparkle gets 3 in this fight. A lot of charge. Must have got that off Mag's shield. Assassin is able to find him, and this will slow the Fuel somewhat, but not enough.
Oh, well, you still have players lingering in the fight, so you lose Doha here. You're going to lose 2 more. You're going to lose Assassin closer. This will be a sim wall that comes out from Decay. Shatter from both sides really gets nothing.
Sparkle and Doha returning to the fight here. I think Fearless is happy to exchange Shatters in this case, but the Fuel don't really get anything from that fight either, so ends up in a stalemate, which benefits the Justice.
Oh, absolutely, because the Justice are closer to Sound Barrier used right there, and they're closer to the Amp Matrix.
Another TP from Sparkle, he's screaming, get that main tank! Immortality Field taking that awful early, and the Fuel now really going into 5th gear. Now, that Amp Matrix, that's going to help a lot. The Dallas Fuel awfully close to the end of the map now, and Sparkle and the Symmetra for the entirety of the map really comes into his own there.
And you see the pressure they're putting on Mag, right? Fearless gets in his face, starts swinging. The Symmetra wall is up, so he has to back up. Then they use an Amp Matrix. They have a Symmetra beam, lining him down. Just so much tried to deal with this main tank and get him out of the equation that if they can knock him down, get him out of the fight, that's when the Dallas Fuel can start to speed on through and get the cleanup crew on everybody else. The Justice have done a pretty good job keeping Mag up. They're going to have to do a better job here on offense.
What we saw, I think, was an Immortality Field placement from Bebe that was kind of set up for the Justice to at least stand their ground, if not go aggressive there, if not sort of try and fight back. But we saw Mag behind the Immortality field, backing up. So the Dallas field put so much pressure that the Justice couldn't even play within the zone of the Immortality field. So it's either that Bebe puts it too far forward, or there's a lack of communication, and the Justice want to go back when, and Bebe sort of wants them to stand their ground. Either way, they don't benefit from that ultimate that has, frankly, been instrumental in allowing Mag to play as aggressively as he has. Dallas, that's that raw, unbridled aggression that forces errors, right? It's not an unforced mistake. It's not just like, oops, he put this in the wrong place. It is the Justice being forced into a suboptimal scenario.
Yeah, so see how the Justice decide to play this on offense. If they play a pretty similar, try and wrap through the hotel and get underneath the high ground and take the point, or if they want to go play for the high ground themselves, TP up there and take the brawl onto them. So looks like here at the start they'll move through the hotel. Could possibly be a fake on a double back, but
I think the Justice had a really elegant take on this defense, Matt, the way they handled it. That first fight looked amazing. I mean, if the Dallas field do even remotely as well here, this is going to be quite a tough one to break through. The wall means that he TP straight into the Maelstrom there. Somehow gets a TP onto the high ground. I like this little do-si-do, but Mag needs to be protected at all costs. Teleport from Decay, constantly changing surroundings here. But Dallas is
they're
still
going to get
Doha. The Justice. They get him. Yeah, they finally managed to run him out the back.
In a really bad spot. I mean, that was got somehow pushed all the way back through his own choke. He was very alone. Actually quite funny. There were 4 players from the Justice huddled around his ice block, just waiting for him to come up, and the rest of the fuel are in the hotel fighting.
I think that positioning was safe until Decay TP'd down from the low ground. Like, Doha was playing passively in his own choke, right? Being ready to back away, because I think he didn't want to lose Blizzard. But then the Justice TP'd on top of him into the choke while the rest of the fuel were on the point, presumably.
Well,
so it's not bad to start with, but it looks bad.
To take a look at it because Doha, they're playing up on the high ground, and they have the TP to the back corner where you see the payload moving now. There's not really a reason for him to play in this back choke. I mean, if he's there alone, he's going to get pushed.
That's another stunner. Sparkle and Fielder knocked to the ground by Mag. Unstoppable of the Ryan so far. These Earth Shatters are sublime. And that will be the Justice just take another comfortable fight.
Yeah, another easy fight there for the Justice as they'll push up, try and prevent or deter a point 2 touch. Still a lot of ultimates for the Dallas field to use here to be able to get to it.
I haven't shook the Magic 8 Ball yet, but I'm getting some MTD vibes here. At least on Earthshatter impact from Mag. He's looked stunning so far. All up there, which does, well, gives Dallas a chance to escape, I guess. They have to back away from the Immortality. This is very good for the Justice, though. Here's a quick TP from Dallas. They want to go aggressive. Wall comes up. There are 2 in play now. This will get confusing for both teams to try and find a way to get some damage. Fearless doesn't have to worry about that, as only his Shadow's really affected, and it's his Shadow that just clatters uselessly into the background. Self-destructs, though, they're the one that claim the foes, and Fearless eventually going to get a swing on Decay. Dallas now have Sparkle protected later into the fight. It's always a good sign. What a chaotic beginning, though.
Oh, I mean, when both Symmetras drop the walls and then the self-destructs come out, and then people teleporting, it is always a bit chaotic. Both teams pretty much dump their entire ultimate bank into that. But the Justice, you'll be able to play for these Shatters, which have been big from Mag. He's been able to land them pretty consistently. Not a great spot here in terms of the payload position to have a good main wall to split some players off. So you're in a good spot here if you're the Justice. Try and get them down for the high ground is going to be the biggest thing.
Another wall comes up. This one from the Justice looks defensive, but it's caught the fuel, and that's 3 for Mag! There's nothing this guy can't do! Every Richter scale in the vicinity completely broken by this point, just from overuse more than anything. Sparkle trying to claw things back later in the fight, and Matt can't get away back to his team, though the cart unattended. The Justice committed, but the fuel stay alive. What a ridiculous fight!
As they all barrel into that room, they're not able to keep Mag alive, and he just becomes a massive damage battery there for Sparkle. As he gets all charged up, you have Jexay doing damage, and you do not want to be in that small hallway when there's a fully charged Symmetra on the other side. So big win there for Dallas, because that's a huge shatter for Mag, and he's been landing those pretty consistently, and they've been winning fights off the back of it.
2 minutes and 15 on the clock here. Now LeMay thrown up, Doha's in the mix, and Fury looks over the top at him, might try and force something, but he gets frozen up, and that's all the opening that Doha needs to go for the Blizzard. It's about perfect. Immortality Field also used there, but the fight is definitely already over.
Yep. So now you're coming back. You know, Blizzard used there, and Amp Matrix. Blizzard used by Dallas, Amp Matrix by the Justice. The Justice come back. You have a Blizzard of your own, and you have your own sound barrier. To if there's like a huge shatter on the other side. So this is a fight for the Justice where you look at the clock, you look at the ultimates they have. This is probably best case scenario for them to take the second checkpoint.
Yeah, we've got another very chaotic fight coming because we have Blizzard Wall and 2 self-destructs, so keep your eyes, if you can, on Assassin and how he positions to make sure he's guaranteed to get this Blizzard off. Hanbin will be looking for it. And the Justice are grouped up here. TP to the high ground, Decay, solo mission? No, okay, the rest of his teammates join him, but Hanbin is quick on the uptake, isn't he? He just rolls over Bebe. Fantastic presence of mind from Hanbin, who wins the fight almost single-handedly for Dallas.
Yeah, and Assassin, I think, was pinned completely out of the fight there when the sound barrier comes down by Fearless. So no opportunity for Assassin to even use that Blizzard as he gets sent all the way down the street.
He shouldn't have anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that is a huge fight win there for the Dallas Fuel.
Unless it would have stopped Hanbin from doing what he just did, but I doubt it. Absolutely ridiculous. Extrasensory performance from Hanbin. And again, the Dallas Fuel play for this high ground. They have an amplification matrix in play. That teleport was just a decoy. Here's the Amp Matrix. Mag sheepishly backs up, but Decay not nearly as lucky. It's going to be a shatter. This one, though, uncharacteristic from Mag, finds nothing, and this is what we call a complete and utter capitulation. The Justice falling apart in the crucial moments here on King's Row. They go for an Amp Matrix, try and stand their ground, maybe try and find a pick, but this is it, Matt, their last chance.
Yeah, they're going to have to get on the cart. They still have this Blizzard from Assassin. He's been holding on to it forever, just trying to find the right moment. So it'll be Mag coming up to touch.
This is where people make mistakes, though. I did this to Hex in the Talon takedown, but no, Assassin's a little bit better, I guess. Blizzard in play, but no one's there. Dallas actually just absconded from the car very quickly. It's only Fearless that actually got frozen up. Sparkle Wall comes up, but Fury is desuited, and the Dallas Fuel. A ridiculous display of resilience here in the face of a fiery main tank and a nasty cohort of players on the Justice. Dallas stand their ground here on King's Row. Fantastic defensive hold.
So clutch from the Dallas Fuel. So many scenarios where the Justice looked like they could have came out on top of fights. Big shatters from Mag, you know, huge plays at times from Fury and Assassin. Not enough, though. Dallas Fuel just as a team so strong, so clutch. They've been in so many big moments this season. So they look to book another trip to Hawaii.
The Justice definitely going to take a moment here just to huddle up and try and find out what's going wrong. Not being able to get Blizzard value in those last 2 fights hurts them badly, for sure. We've got a lot going for them in this series. It's time to turn that up to 11. We got more to come, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. One of these teams, only one, get to go to Hawaii.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
make no mistake, the bitterness of this team's loss at the hands of the Shanghai Dragons at the end of the Junjiao still lingers. And the only team standing between them and a chance to renew that rivalry and maybe take themselves a crown here in the Summer Showdown is the Washington Justice. The Dallas Fuel map bounced back in a big way on Kings Row. A map that looked like it could have been very, very close, and a map that frankly started pretty well for Washington. Shame it didn't end that way.
Yeah, but I think really the story is Dallas, right? How they've been able to overcome in this series and then just overcome this entire season, right? You know, XC retires right before the year begins. You know, a lot of people, I think, you know, their roster was so hyped at the beginning when they got announced. But then as other teams started to announce their roster, you know, you kind of fell a little bit out of love with the roster at times. You started to look for more holes. But they look great. Mag trying his absolute hardest to get the Justice over the line here against, you know, the two-time finalists for the tournaments, the Dallas Fuel. And I mean, his Reinhardt play has been tremendous in this series.
Yeah, look, crucially, half of his Earthshatters half of his Earthshatter stuns are translating into kills, which isn't easy when you're dealing with another Reinhardt shield, Symmetra barriers, immortality field. So Mag has definitely been creating a lot of these big opportunities, and watching him, it seems unclear as to, you know, what is the impetus for going for these shadows. Sometimes it seems like he has this sixth sense and uncanny timing for them. And it seems like, you know, Fearless is a little unsure about, you know, when he can actually swing, lest, you know, he'll be sitting on his rear end awfully quick. Also, 9.1 final blows per 10. So you really know that Mag is very involved in this fighting. A lot of close-range brawling with the Symmetra and main map. It makes for confusing team fights sometimes, but you know, like, you have to be mechanically really very talented to get the best out of this comp.
And it's odd to even say. Obviously, the Justice still with a chance to win this series, right? They win the control. You know, to kick things off, you win this, you send it back to another control. But even with a loss, I still feel like this has been a really good day for the Washington Justice as a team. Like, they've proven that they can win important matches against the top teams and take a team like the Dallas Fuel close down to the wire, which Dallas Fuel is unquestionably the best team in North America this season. So if the Justice are able to, you know, keep making this a game, even force a fifth map, that's huge for morale going into the Countdown Cup.
And Dallas, I mean, to a degree, they kind of rely on performances in these, you know, end-of-month tournament cycles because their first two qualifier runs weren't stellar. Like, they weren't just stacked with wins. You know, I mean, they got a lot of their league points from winning the main melee.
They almost didn't make the main melee tournament.
Yeah, that was
like, they almost didn't make the knockouts. Yeah, it was like what? It was a team like going winning a Havana that put them in or something like that.
That's
like,
right.
You know,
Yeah, it was like a 2-2.
Yeah.
With like it was a map differential scenario for sure. Now the Dallas Fuel, I mean, but they're very familiar to being in Hawaii. I'm sure they'd love to go back. Food looked bloody good. See what they got here comp-wise. Oh, the Winston switch up. Okay, so they see the ball, they say, okay, we'll play dive.
Yeah, and Zen break. So you want to try and dive the Zen. Obviously, Zen does not have great survivability. Sparkle wins a battle against Assassin. So Assassin maybe not able to translocate in time. Didn't think he was going to get one clip. But
that's not supposed to happen. Whichever way you slice it, that is strange. Unless he camped the translocator by finding it early, which is, you know, not unheard of. That's a big deal, and you can see the Justice. Crucially, Matt, it's less time they can spend building that EMP, which they need against this composition.
But you notice they're not really diving with this composition. With the Moira in play, they're just kind of, you know, playing as a group, just circulating around the map.
Oh, no.
They get right in the Zen's face. That's going to be both supports. I think the Justice probably has to move away from this. I think you got to move to something else.
How do they manage to corral both supports on the wrong side of the map and pincer them like that?
Well, they're playing up on the high ground, like on the opposite side of Big Earls, and they're originally playing on like the wood flanks there on the screen, and somehow they end up trying to go around to like the cave, maybe trying to take a different angle.
Right.
Like, the payload was going to get a little bit closer, but not able to do so. This will be Coalescence pushing on forward. Mag uses the minefield almost defensively up there on the high ground. It doesn't really matter though.
Oh, Matt, this might not be close. The Dallas Fuel look like they really have a good handle on this composition. We've seen it before, and the Justice look really uncertain. You've already said maybe they're better served by switching off of this setup. They haven't done so yet. They're still looking for a way to derive some value from this EMP for Assassin. But they lose that first part of the map almost instantly.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're not switching off of it because, you know, they probably have Blade, which you have a Transcendence for, and you have EMP. That could be a possible reason. That's a big pick off there. May have been a stun and then a kill on the Sparkle.
Okay, so manual hack on Doha after the EMP. So Assassin has a really nice fight here. Doha didn't have the opportunity to go for the Blade. Might now, though. Drops from the sky, sees a Diva and says, however I can get value with this ability, I will. From over the top, it's got to be the Transcendence forced out of Bebe. Eventually closer, able to run Doha down. But the Fuel aren't fully committed next to the Blades. In fact, it looks like they just use it to force the Transcendence, and Bebe now has nothing but spare parts on the roadside. Here's the sound barrier from Jexa, which is, I'll be honest, questionable indeed. Only he and Field to benefit from that. Fearless's Primal looked pretty darn good, of course, but well, where did Dallas go from here?
And Fury was able to contest the cart the entire time. The rally was going down as well, so people pretty healthy here for the Washington Justice. Fearless pushes on forward with the Coalescence. They're able to get a DMAC on the Fury as Bebe comes back from the spawn.
Pulse doesn't connect. Good damage on Harmon and Fearless respectively, though. That's a lot for Fielder and Jexa to heal in a short space of time. Fielder, look how low his healing resource is, so we'll need to sit on that for a bit. So Dallas were a little bit vulnerable throughput-wise.
I'm restored.
I feel it's pretty conservative how he manages that. Doha gets caught.
And Fury tries to get a remake on the cart, but he's not able to do so. The brig call is quite odd here. You know, you want the brig near the Zen, but when they're not coming and diving, you know, you're just kind of sitting there doing really not much of anything. This time, though, they actually keep the Zen alive for a decent amount of time, but they're going to be a Coalescence and a Primal in the spawn. You know, it's 3 players that push deep, both supports and Fearless, and they decide to invest once they get that kill.
That's a big commitment there for Dallas, and they probably feel like they're very close to a win. Assassin has an EMP here. Everybody for the Justice has to be ready because Dallas are all lights out. Mag still gets blown up, though, the old-fashioned way, apparently. Dallas churning butter and winning teamfights at the same time. Got to respect the hustle. Decay looks for a pulse, and this might be the time. Yep, go for it now while they're all grouped up. It's Harmon and Fearless that take a lot of damage. Great sound barrier timing from Jexa. This was much better. Keeps Fearless alive and gives Harmon a chance to remake after the self-destruct, but eventually Fearless gets taken down. Discord orb on Hanbin right now. 3 players contesting the cart for the Justice, and they're all highly mobile. Hard for Dallas to pin them down. Hanbin loses the mech, and Jexa is flattened.
Yes, they'll barely get a hold here. Is that, you know, you're playing around this EMP, right? This EMP being a game changer, the extra damage from the Discord, allowing your team to basically live through the lack of healing that your supports provide and have that extra damage, you know, hack plus a Discord and then being able to burn it down with like a Tracer and a Diva and the Zen damage, obviously. But that's kind of your game plan here. It's very, very risky.
It's got to be a Blade here, Matt, surely. Doha knows that Baby probably doesn't have Transcendence. Doesn't pull it there, which is normally when you'd expect it. He's looking for tanks. Whatever Doha can get, he'll take it. Fury taken down after he was out of the mech. That's quite a nice catch there from Doha. And he'll settle for the Diva kill for now. Pulse Bomb gets used there by Sparkle. They're trying to pressure the backline of the Justice as much as they can, but Bebe gets their Transcendence online, and here comes the turnaround. Doha caught deep in enemy territory alongside Fearless. Too much healing to get through.
Yeah, as Assassin actually drops the EMP right on top of Fearless and Doha as they're putting pressure on Bebe. So they EMP, and then as soon as they're hacked, Bebe ends up using the Transcendence, and then you have Closer and Assassin able to finish off some players. Yeah, it's 2 massive ultimates to invest there. See if the Justice can hold here. This would be, you know, if you can hold here for how things are looking, this would be a very good defense for Washington. They have basically nothing to work with, though.
Decay gets spotted there by Hanbin, so the Pulse Bomb becomes a little harder to stick. But the hack on the Diva, that's big. Decay tries to drop it after Hanbin, but he's able to get to safety. Coalescence now in play. Decay has no recourse, so has to double blink across the gap. He's out of the fight for a couple seconds now. Assassin can't find the hack there as Fearless descends upon him, looking angry. The Fuel are struggling to pin down individual targets here. They're really having trouble finding individuals. Bebe's able to force him back, though. Closes there with the Discord orb, but it's too much for Fearless to deal with. Jexa taken down now, but the cart, oh, it's close. Sparkle gets Bebe with the Pulse Bomb finally, but Closer, yeah, looks like it's going to be very, very hard to shift. Against his old team, Closer looks like he's ready to rumble. Doha gets taken down by the whip shot. Great hold here from the Washington Justice, Matt. They'll be pleased with that.
And that is a hard composition to make work what they're running, because a lot of the time the dive comes in from Dallas and it's onto the supports up on the high ground, and Closer and Bebe have to back up, which means a lot of those players on the card are just for themselves in terms of healing, and they do a great job just rotating and contesting between Fury and Mag and Decay, and obviously the Tracer can, you know, recall, you can play a little bit off of health packs with the Wrecking Ball, but still, when those players go into the back line and try and get those kills, you have no way of getting any type of healing resources whatsoever for the rest of the team. So really well played for the Justice to be able to hold like that.
You can see this less common in the Western region, right? This Wrecking Ball composition, the Sombra. You know, the Brig Zen is obviously a combination of supports that has arguably less throughput here, but it's really deadly to Fearless. I mean, he has to dive into a Brig who will stun him, and then you have a Discord Orb applied immediately. It's not a diveable backline. Bebe is critical to the success of this Justice composition, especially against Genji. He's very well protected, allowing Mag and Decay to run off and just try and cause chaos. It's a tough comp to sort of really read, I think, for Dallas. And, you know, Fearless is probably unsure, Matt, where to go. Like, can't dive the back line. How do I have impact as Winston here?
I mean, played poorly, this Justice comp would get rolled, right? They're just playing it at a very high level. Everybody making the right decisions. So, can the Justice force us to Game 5, or do we get the Dallas Fuel in Hawaii yet again? We'll find out at the end of this half.
Mag taking his time here. It's unclear what he's looking for. Probably Fielder. Dallas obviously played the Moira because they knew that they'd be dealing with a Wrecking Ball, but now the Ana will have to deal with this constant harassment. Cart moving slowly. Sparkle hoping to catch Decay there, but defense matrix from Fury keeps him alive. And oh dear! Yeah, looks like the biscuit wasn't enough to keep Sparkle up.
Yeah, and you want the Ana. In this case, the Ana is better for the Nano onto the Echo or the Winston, as you may have to use it here as Fearless gets really low and they take him out.
Yeah, this is going from bad to worse for the Dallas Fuel now. Losing that pressure element of Sparkle means they can turn their attention on targets like Fielder. And Dallas think, oh dear, how much can we contest here? Looks like they probably have a chance. A duplicate here for Doha could be quite nice. Sparkle's hacked, so his mobility is severely limited. They can't quite dive him though, but in the meantime, Kart was moving. Great presence of mind from Harmon to keep it stalled out for just a second. It's a duplicated Diva now on the point for Dallas. They're going for it.
Duplicate plus Nano here for the Dallas Fuel, and the Justice just back out slightly. So some of those ultimates go to waste. And this will be the duplicate itself destruct as Doha coming out of the duplicate form. So the Justice now going to try and play for this EMP potentially on the high ground.
Great patience from the Justice. Here's the EMP
the knockdown
now.
into the EMP.
Yeah, Fearless is caught with that Discord Orb on him right now, and he's trying to get back to safety. He's got to be kept alive somehow. That could come back to hurt the Justice. They don't find any kills for the duration of the EMP, but they now find Harmbin on his own in Big Earls, hack him, de-suit him, and Dallas are down to 5. Bebe used the Transcendence there, though. They'll get the card across the line. They walk it up. Dallas, what happened?
Yeah, it looked like a few players, maybe somebody thought they were going to step onto the point, or they were close enough to keep it contested. They just needed an inch there, though, to complete it. So a few players die here, and you're going to get these long spawns now for Dallas. So this went from good to better here for the Justice. As the Justice, you'll have Rally, and you'll probably end up getting a minefield out of this before the next fight kicks off.
Dallas were in a similar position on King's Row. They managed to wrest the map back. But the Justice this time, armed to the teeth.
The fielder would be massive.
No connection there. Shield's going to be available for Jexa. Keeps him alive. Fearless manually hacked there by Assassin. And Doha gets the nano boost here. Fury, he has to break line of sight entirely. Doha might just have to settle for building a duplicate here. They want to go. Fearless wants to go. That's crazy.
Yeah, they go so deep to try and get Bebe and Closer. As Closer will pop Rally. So you do have some players here with armor, and then you have Assassin with an EMP.
Bebe with the armor. So much more durable now. Doha gets his wings clipped in midair, and here's the follow-up. The EMP catches Hanbin and Doha. And the ladder falls as a result. Fearless has no ultimate to work with here. No nano boost from Fielder, no nothing. Discord Orb slapped on his face, and he has to run away.
Nice. That's a pile driver into that self-destruct as well. That keeps Fearless in that area.
Hanbin, I mean, he's looking for a card to stall. It hasn't quite arrived there yet. Fielder gives a nano boost over towards his Diva, and Hanbin can't do much with it very well at this moment. Fury will play for the high ground here in a self-destruct. Okay, gets LOS for the most part here. Decay went for a pulsing caught Jexamat. That's nasty. Dallas have to rely on Fielder now to do the lion's share of their healing, and Doha gets hacked. Looking for a self-destruct, won't get it here, and may not even... Yeah, it might get knocked out of this duplicate. He gets the self-destruct just in time. It's more time bought.
Right, and but they're going to come in from the side with a mag, pile driver and minefield, and then you're going to have Assassin build up an EMP here if they try and step up to the card.
Yep, Hanbin had to run into that, so did Fearless. Both tanks from Dallas just had to eat the minefield. Perfect execution from the Justice. They knew if they put Cactus on the payload, the fuel would have to run into them. Fantastic stuff from the Justice here on Route 66. And they will force this qualifier game all the way.
I mean, the way they played that comp, the execution from the team was so good, as that's got to give them a ton of confidence going into this Game 5. You've already beaten Dallas on control, and you come out and put out all the stops like that. Look tremendous, playing a very difficult composition. The Justice trying to get their first trip to Hawaii, man. They look really good going into this Game 5.
Dallas Fuel don't want a second loss from the Washington Justice this season, especially not at a time like this. Map 5 is on the cards, everybody. Time to sit tight. We'll see it in a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile.
before saw an invigorated Justice squad come out with a pretty crazy comp, Matt. Wrecking Ball with the Brig and Zen. We also had Sombra in the mix. They end up taking a pretty clean, comfortable victory against Dallas on Route 66. The comp looked really good, Matt, but the question is that an option for them going forward now? They have to play, in order to end this series, Control.
I don't think it's an option for Control. I think they're going to have to kind of go back to some of the Reinhardt-based stuff for Control. The map obviously is the Dallas you'll pick, and they end up taking the Paul, which you can run a lot of the Symmetra plus Mei combinations on with the Reinhardt in play. So fully expect to see that from the Dallas Fuel to try and get back to Hawaii, prevent Justice from making their first trip. I think this is, though, scary, because the Justice haven't looked bad running the Symmetra with the Reinhardt. They didn't look bad at map number 1. Very back and forth. They end up squeaking it out at the end, but still a little bit of a gamble here going into this 5th game, but really a toss-up.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. In fact, Matt, the Dallas Fuel looked pretty sketchy in our first map of the series. It was Lijiang Tower. First round was fine. The second, though, that's when the problems started to creep in. That's when we really got to see Mag assert himself, or begin to at least, on that Reinhardt role. Dallas opted mostly for the Doomfist instead of going for the sort of maybe more safe Symmetra Mei setup, and it eventually got the better of them. So here, that's the question. Do they try and go for something a little bit more aggressive, which is very classic Dallas? Or do they try and play it a little safer? This would imply maybe the latter of the two.
Yeah, I mean, I think you play it safe here, or at least they'll start playing it safe. Right now, you have both teams hovering over exactly what I thought they would. I think it's really, a lot of this is going to rely on the Justice. Can they keep executing at the level they've been executing during this match? And quite frankly, the only thing that's separating the Justice from being one of the top teams in the league is their execution and their game planning from map to map. You know, the talent is there amongst these players. They just have to put it together, which today they have.
Here it is. Our map 5. On the other side of this, one of these teams will be going to Hawaii. One will be sorely disappointed. Sparkle, not a great start for him somehow. Got really messy out there in the mix. Closest able to find Doha, though, and Dallas are down in numbers and a Diva mech.
Yeah, and Decay gets a little bit of an off angle. Doing a lot of these solo teleport plays is Decay, which is not too surprising. Kind of using it for an off angle.
Decay, really? Yeah.
Using them for an off angle. You know, shooting a few. Getting in some damage on the side. Maybe pushing from that angle, but then having the safety to go back to the team through the teleporter. Able to get some damage down from the side, and Mag with zero fear gets right up in their faces, takes out one straight away, which just gives the fight advantage to the Justice the rest of the way.
Washington have the TP to rotate. They're maybe not expecting this wall to come out so quickly. It is broken. The Shatter is there. Bebe and Decay get knocked to the ground. You couldn't ask for two more important players to hit with that Shatter. That's huge from Fearless, stepping up in a matchup that has been coming off second best on occasion in this series. Fury, though, excuse me, parting gift at least.
Yeah, I mean, he gets two on the way out. They won't be able to do much of anything with it. But yeah, big Shatter there from Fearless, like you mentioned. The real player to knock down there is Bebe, right? No chance of an immortality field keeping anybody alive. Everybody will be back into the fight here for Dallas Fuel. This will be both teams at full strength.
That'll be Max Shatter to look out for now. Amplification Matrix comes out, the wall was there. Oh no, Mag lost it! Sparkle picks Mag off while he's in the animation for Earth Shatter. In fact, it looked like Mag had jumped before he shattered. Hard to say. Either way, that's devastating. One of the most effective ultimates from the Justice now off the table, and a lost team fight. It's insult and injury in equal measure.
Maybe he thought he had an immortality field where they were going to drop a sound barrier or something to help him out there, but with how good his shatters have been, to just lose it for nothing, I mean, that is rough, yeah. So that is a huge momentum changer here on our first point in favor of the Dallas Fuel.
This buys Doha enough time to build up his Blizzard. He'll have it there with Assassin. This next fight's going to be a little hog wild. Here comes the Maywall. Symmetra barriers in play as well. See Fearless keeping his health up. Keep an eye on the tank health bars if you can. Assassin loses his Blizzard. That is just absolutely massive. The Justice have had two of their most important ultimates back to back removed. You can't win this game without them, Matt.
No. Against a team like the the Dallas Fuel, you're not going to win the games when you know, blow a shatter, you get nothing with a blizzard, Bebe. This is the good old-fashioned Batiste stagger, right? Nowhere for him to go to get off the side. And we're in last fight territory with Assassin switching off of the May and going to go onto the Doom here.
So now it's the Justice that have decided they have to go aggressive. They had to get an insta-kill, ideally. That's why Assassin's playing on his own right now, but Mag disintegrates under the scrutiny of Fearless and co. Looks like it was an air matrix, but the damage was done by Sparkle. And that's it, the Justice just get absolutely blown to smithereens here at Dallas Fuel. They are adamant that the tickets for that plane belong to them.
You know, the whiff shatter from Mag, the one that never comes down, and then that Blizzard, you know, it's fantastic play by Hanbin as his placement so strong today. Those are huge. Those really turned the tide there in that first round. Can the Justice clean up some of those mistakes? Or is it just the Dallas Fuel coming up clutch when they need to yet again? Sending themselves to Hawaii, which, you know, if they get there, they're still one of the favorites to win it.
Washington left wondering what could have been after being so close to a spot on that beautiful island. I hear it's great this time of year too. Here come the Justice once more. And again, Reinhardt will be the play of the day. And we'll have the Maze Symmetra combo. Early aggression here from Mag, no surprise. The Immortality Field, though, awfully short-lived. And so, in fact, is the Shield Bearer.
Oh, and they lose Fury as well. Assassin trying to turn it, but no, the Justice, the last few times, they've been able to just kind of barrel Mag through and get some kills, and that time just doesn't work out. You know, things are starting to get tough here for Washington as they go back, you know, get all regrouped. So what will they decide to do? Where will they decide to attack? Looks like potentially thinking about the high ground. Now we're going to drop down low. Teleport across. They're going to go from this right side staircase.
Assassin eats that one. Dallas have tightened every loose nut and bolt they can find here. Speaking of loose nuts, though, Mag's in the front line again. Immortality Field used awfully early. Baby now going to follow up with the application. Matrix with Fearless lives. He's still alive somehow. Mag's going to find Fielder at the very least, and now it's going to be tougher to keep the Ryan standing. Nice shatter from Mag. That one looked a lot better. Still is going to get taken down. He's desperately... Look, you can see his playstyle's changing. He's going deeper and deeper to try and find these kills, and Fearless is just holding the door.
Yeah, it's funny. It's that we talked about the Washington Justice being the team that would be a little bit more reactionary, not the team that would be aggressive.
I mean, you said that.
But what we're seeing right now, though, is Dallas letting Washington try and engage onto them. Like, you know, when both of these teams have kind of run at each other, the Justice have been able to make some plays, trying to get the Justice to go in a little bit too deep. Here, they're going to meet them at the punch.
Straight over the top of the Exo Boots goes Fielder, trying to keep Fearless alive with the Immortality Field, but it's not enough. Blizzard there is going to catch Mag, but the sound barrier from Closer is skillfully deployed. The Justice are 6 strong as they push to the point now, and oh dear, that's a one-sided fight if I've ever seen it.
Yes, Hanbin's still here. Gonna drop, get taken out, so we will have a flip. 81% though you've gotten here for the Dallas Fuel. The Justice pretty much have to be perfect from here on out. When they come into this next fight, they probably just end up with an Ant Matrix Shatter. You could use the self-destruct here for the Fuel, you know, push players in one direction and then land a Shatter, as it looks like they'll go take the high ground.
Fearless walks the ledge for a moment just to clear any turrets that might have been there to slow them down. Shatter. The Shatter! It catches Mag and Assassin. The Immortality Field has to go straight away. Fielder also uses his, to be fair. The Mag is in trouble. Oh, he's in deep trouble. He's trying to back away, but Fearless will not be denied. And now Sparkle is unleashed on Bebe, who didn't have the cooldowns to protect himself, let alone his teammates. Over the edge will go Decay because the Justice know their last chance is now.
And they are focusing down Mag so hard as Fury may not even be a player in this final fight as he is trying to make his way
Heartbreaking,
Matt.
That's devastating.
Oh, 92% you were not going to have him here coming in. This is brutal for the Justice. They played so well, but not looking good here at the end.
They can't even touch!
Oh.
With 5 players, Matt, and no choice without
They
the
get boot
Diva.
back.
They can't go over the wall to touch the point. The Justice, 4-0 in May Melee qualifiers. They fail to make it to the finals. Now here in the June Joust, it's a 3-1 qualifier run, but they run up against Dallas Fuel after already a map 5 against the Paris Eternal. What a run from the Washington Justice, but they pull up short, and once more, we'll be sending the Dallas Fuel to Hawaii.
This is such a close and competitive game, though. You can see how hard it hits Mag and some of the players on the Justice, but this is a team that if you're, obviously this hurts now, but you'll go back and look at this. I mean, the Dallas Fuel players, they are not exactly thrilled with the way they played today. They know that this is a Justice team that is definitely capable talent-wise of hanging, and I think if you're the Justice, that's what you have to take out of today. Obviously, a win for the Dallas Fuel to send them to Hawaii. They are the favorites coming into this one. But if you're the Justice, this is something you have to build on going forward. Like, we are capable enough of taking, arguably the best team in the league, the distance. That is the type of bar you should hold yourself to for the rest of the year. And I think if they do that, this is a team that we will definitely see at the end of the year come playoff time.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, Matt, and the Dallas Fuel, you could see they were just exhausted more than elated after that victory. They know they've got to some travel ahead of them, and of course a grueling gauntlet to run once they get to Hawaii. Of course, our player of the match, though, presented by Xfinity, is someone that I think from start to finish was just such a crucial and consistent factor. It's got to be Hanbin. Matt, I mean, I almost lost my mind on King's Row, especially when he makes a huge play to get Decay and Bebe in the space of 1-5. But it was this moment here, just following that TP. Stunning performance from Hanbin, really just dominating here in this Diva role against Fury. I mean, the only person that you could argue that maybe matches him on the Diva.
And he was always in position, some massive ultimate cancellations when they needed it the most during this match. I thought he really put a stamp on it in our 5th game. And he's kind of an unsung hero at times for this Dallas Fuel team. His performances have been so good, they go a little bit under the radar.
Yes, I mean, and it's also because we have so many incredible off-tanks in the league, right? I mean, Void is waiting for him on the other side. You know what I mean? Yeah. Over in China, and we are, is it going to be Hawk that goes along to Hawaii with him again? Who even knows? Hanbin is surrounded by stiff competition at this role, but in this series, it was those individual moments, the individual plays, right? In a series of individual players making those plays, right? We've got Decay playing off Hangzhou Spark, having to go deep to try and, go crazy. Mag looking to find these big Earth Shatters. Hanbin, of course, is, like you said, more of an unsung hero, but moments like that, I'm so glad we managed to catch it, because that really is the difference between, a great Diva and an absolutely world-class one. Matt, we're going to step aside for a moment here. I cannot wait to hear from Dallas because they look exhausted. I'd love some insights from them on how that series went. So we're going to have Danny catch up with Fearless briefly, as of course the Fuel are victorious. They're heading to Hawaii.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break presented by Cheesy Cruise. We're joined now by Fearless from Dallas Fuel. Congratulations on the win today. Fearless 선수 오늘 승리 너무나도 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Alright, so before we actually jump into the questions, I want to talk a little bit about this game. You know, of course you guys got the win and you guys are going to Hawaii yet again, but this was a very close match and I feel like Washington Justice really put up a good fight. How was the match for you? How was it playing the match? Was it difficult? How was it for you? 질문을 들어가기 전에 일단 이번 경기에 대해서 조금 여쭤보고 싶어요. 제가 개인적으로 오늘 당연히 승리를 거두셔서 하와이 다시 또 한 번 가게 되셨지만은 제가 봤을 때 워싱턴이 정말 굉장히 잘 싸웠다고 저는 봅니다. 경기를 뛰시면서 좀 어느 생각이 들었나요? 좀 뭐 어려움이나 이런 게 있었나요?
일단 초반에 이 상대 기세에 제가 기가 눌려가지고 진짜 정신 못 차릴 정도로 두드려 맞았거든요. 그래가지고 너무 정신이 없는 거예요. 약간 그래가지고 좀 초반에 너무 이렇게 밀리다 보니까 살짝 무서웠는데 다시 무서움을 이겨내고 꼭 이기자, 하와이 한 번 더 가자, 이렇게 했어요.
Okay. So when the match started in the very beginning, I think Washington had a really big energy and we were we got sort of downed by that, and because of that I felt a little bit scared going up against the Washington Justice, and because of that we sort of got wrecked in the early to mid game. So we were having a lot of issues because of that. I think it was just like the fear of Washington Justice's players, I think, and they just came out with this big energy that sort of caught us off guard and caught me off guard, and I was really scared. But I was able to overcome that fear and overcome that energy, and at the end that's how the Dallas Fuel were able to win. And you were completely correct. You were able to, go over your fear, go over that scaredness, and you were able to clutch that win. All right, let's go into the first question. You guys, again, like I said, are going to Hawaii again for the third time, actually. What is your ultimate goal for the Summer Showdown tournament? Is it to get revenge on the Shanghai Dragons because they were the team that beat you guys for the Junjiao's tournament? 첫 번째 질문은 이제 아까 제가 말씀했다시피 다시 또 한 번 하와이를 가게 되었습니다. 이번이 세 번째인데요. 서머 쇼다운 이번 토너먼트에 좀 마지막 목표가 있다면 뭘까요? 혹시 아무래도 저번 토너먼트에서 상하이 팀에게 졌기 때문에 상하이 팀을 이겨야겠다는 좀 그런 복수 좀 이런 게 목표인가요?
네, 칼을 갈고 있습니다. 상하이 드래곤즈한테 저번에 진 게 너무 뼈가 아파가지고 이번에는 꼭 다시 만나서 이 결승전에서 만나가지고 똑같이 이기고 싶습니다. 메이밀리처럼.
Right, yes, definitely, that is very correct. I really want to defeat the Shanghai Dragons this time around and get our revenge against the Shanghai Dragons because we lost to them in the Junjiaos. We want them to go into the finals. We want to see them in the Summer Showdown finals, and we want to beat them and bring out the result that was the same as in the May Melee. So we want to defeat Shanghai Dragons, just like how we did in the May Melee. All right, my second question for you, Fearless, is there has been a lot of conversation around whether the West can really keep up with the Wrecking Ball comps that we've seen from the East. What are your personal thoughts on that? 자, 두 번째 질문 좀 더 재밌는 질문인 것 같아요. 이제 요즘 어떻게 보면은 우리 북미 쪽이 지금 아시아 쪽에서 쓰는 이런 조합, 레킹볼 조합 이런 거를 좀 따라가지 못할 것 같다라는 이런 의견들이 많은데 피어리스 선수가 보시기에는 좀 그거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시나요?
일단 레킹볼 조합이 뭐라 해야 될까, 이게 쓰는 뭐라 해야 되지? 레킹볼 조합이
천천히 take your time.
네, 제 생각에는 약간 잘하면 진짜 너무나도 강한 조합이고 못하면은 그것만큼 또 잘 안 되는 조합인데, 저는 솔직히 조합 차이는 잘 모르겠고 이번에는 순수히 잠깐만요.
괜찮아. 그럼 이거부터 계속 하세요. Yeah, take your time, it's fine. Fearless is forming his answer right now, so let's be patient. Take your time, take all the time you need. 천천히 하시면 됩니다. 그러니까 지금 말씀하신 게 레킹볼이 어떻게 보면은 정말 좋으면은 정말 잘 쓰면은 정말 세고 잘 못하면은 정말 안 좋다.
네, 약간 그런 느낌입니다. 네.
Alright.
그래서
so Fearless is 이거를 제가 그럼 먼저 통역을 하고 그 다음에 제가 다시 여쭤볼게요. Alright, so Fearless's first part of the answer, he's saying that Wrecking Ball comp is a comp that's sort of it's weird. It's very straightforward. If you're really good at that comp, there's nothing that you could beat it with. It's really difficult. It's really powerful. But at the same time, if you can't get up to that level, it's something that you probably don't want to use, and it could look really bad. Alright, and then I'm gonna continue this question, but because if you're good at using this comp, then like you said, it's really strong, and Shanghai Dragons, they're the top team in APAC region, and they are a really good team that utilizes this composition. So how does that translate for you? 그러면은 방금 말씀했다시피 잘하는 팀이 레킹볼 조합을 쓰면은 정말 좋은 조합을 하셨잖아요. 그렇게 그 말을 들으면은 이제 상하이 팀은 어떻게 보면은 이 조합을 계속 써왔고 정말 이 조합을 어떻게 보면 마스터한 팀인데, 이제 그거를 생각하셨을 때는 좀 어떻게 생각하면 좋을까요?
상하이 드래곤즈도 이제 레킹볼 조합의 이 최정상을 갔잖아요. 정말 잘하니까. 저희도 그런 만큼 다른 조합을 저희도 최상위로 올려서 최상위 대 최상위로 만나서 저희가 조합 차이가 아닌 한번 실력 차이로 한번 이겨보도록 하겠습니다.
Okay. Yes, of course, because Shanghai Dragons are a team that have sort of mastered this Wrecking Ball comp, and they're at the peak of how good you could get with this Wrecking Ball comp. So I believe what we have to do to get our revenge is to sort of come up with our own playstyle and come up with our composition that is different, and sort of beat them with that. So it's I don't want to say it's going to be a comp diff. We want to beat the Shanghai Dragons mechanically with skill, but not just comp diff. All right, Fearless, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much. I know some of the last question was a little bit tricky, but thank you so much for taking the time to answer it. Fearless 선수, 이걸로 인터뷰를 마치겠고요. 마지막 질문이 조금 어려운데도 끝까지 좋은 답변 해주셔서 너무나도 감사드립니다.
감사합니다. Let's go Hawaii!
Thank you. Let's go. Let's go away. Let's head back to the desk.
Let's go indeed. Thank you so much, Fearless. Thank you so much, Danny, for getting the inside scoop for us on the desk now. Yeah, I mean, he's right with what he says, though. I love to hear those thoughts. I think the way to beat a team like the Shanghai Dragons is to actually just play to your strength. You just gotta do what you gotta do. And that's exactly what the Dallas Fuel have had so much success with up until right now. It was a very close match though. What a back and forth, what a heartbreaker this was for the Washington Justice. Like, we're all on the edges of our seats, even though none of us actually has a seat, so imagine what dangers we lived in throughout the entire of this match. I want to break it down. I mean, where to even begin, right? At the beginning, it was a back and forth. Washington Justice played so well. Mac on Reinhardt.
Oh my god.
That, I have all sorts of feelings right now. It's actually unreal. It was an absolute, that was a Rein diff right there.
Yeah, and I mean, that set the tempo for the rest of the series. Incredible. Then we went over to Volskaya Industries as well, and Dallas Fuel, they combated the Washington Justice and showed that they are actually in this series themselves. They can play these dive compositions. We went to King's Row, where the fortitude from Dallas Fuel to get back at the Washington Justice and beat them out in these Reinhardt compositions after losing the first map, Lijiang Tower, behind Mag playing such incredible Overwatch, really. Here on King's Row as well, I believe that Fearless fully got MTD'd by Mag consistently, but the rest of the Dallas Fuel, they made that difference. Sparkle on the Symmetra was a menace, the damage output he had as well. We go over to Route 66, it's back to the dive compositions, but this time the Washington Justice with the Zenyatta, Closer and Baby, making themselves so hard to kill for the Dallas Fuel, and the rest of the Washington Justice, they swoop in, they capitalize on those Winston dives and actually turn the tide, holding the Dallas Fuel here on point B. As you said, Zoe, this was an incredible back and forth between two very good teams, but ultimately the Dallas Fuel, they come out on top with Fearless carrying the flag here on Nepal, carrying the torch on Village and on Shrine. Peak Overwatch right here. Mental series. I'm exhausted. I can't imagine what the players are feeling like.
Still have one more to go, guys.
It's interesting because Dallas did what Dallas do best as well. When you go to map 5 against Dallas, you're going to get their best 100% of the time. As Johnny said, I think Mag was the better main tank throughout the entirety of the series until the very end. And that is the thing that Dallas Fuel does so well. When their back's against the wall, they will play their best Overwatch and they will make it work, and they did just that. So I feel a lot better about the Washington Justice though. Coming into the Countdown Cup, I'm going to be very high on this team because not only did they look good playing that Winston composition, they looked good on the Reinhardt compositions, they looked good on the Wrecking Ball. They showed the diversity that we've been looking for from them and that Mag has been speaking to. So I'm excited for the Washington Justice, but I'm also excited to see Dallas Fuel head to Hawaii. And Fearless was not very confident in his ability with that answer against the Shanghai Dragons. There isn't a good answer right now, and none of us have come up with an answer as well. So that is going to be the storyline heading into Hawaii.
It's going to make it all the more exciting for us to watch. But Dallas is not going to be the only team going to Hawaii. We do have a second Western team, and that one will be fought out between the Gladiators and the Atlanta Reign. This is going to be an exciting series to determine which second team will advance to the Summer Showdown tournament in Hawaii. Now, let's shift gears. Let's talk about this match. Let's preview the action to the best of our ability, starting with our Crunch Time presented by Cheesy Grooves, because our eyes for this Crunch Time are going to be on Shu and Iris. It's all about those flex supports here, Costa.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to look at. So we're looking at Baptiste this season per 10 minutes. Look at these guys and sort of the back and forth that we see of them. They're both doing ridiculous amount of healing, but Shu has the edge in final blows, offensive assists, and also gets more value out of his immortality fields, but he dies that little bit more, and that's because I think Shu is that aggressive player. It will be interesting, though, looking at this series, how these two teams are going to play, because as Shu just said in his interview when we talked to him a couple of hours ago, Gladiators are a very aggressive team. They like to play that dive style, while Atlanta Reign, very defensive with Iris on that Baptiste. What is going to win, the shield or the spear, Danny?
I don't know.
Danny, please. Hey, let's look at predictions to find out who he thinks actually is going to win. So here they are, our predictions for today's second last match, not second last match. That is the last one, unfortunately. I'm going with the Reign, big surprise. I just feel like they've been so dominant. They've been so good, and they've been actually able to shut down aggressive teams. So I feel like it's going to be tricky for the Gladiators to find an in.
All right, I went with Atlanta Reign too, but I'm not feeling too confident for some reason. But I'm not gonna switch. I do still think Atlanta has the upper hand. You know, they could play like Chief said in this interview. You know, they're the more offensive team and Atlanta Reign's more defensive team. But we've seen time and time again that Atlanta could be very offensive as well. Like could play the offensive play style as well. So I am gonna have to go with Atlanta Reign.
Yeah, I'm going to have to choose the Sphere just like Danny. I think, sorry, the Shield just like Danny.
Shield.
Sorry, flipping them around, yeah. The Atlanta Reign, I think their
That was
defensive style, no one's been able to break it so far. And I think the Gladiators have looked good when they're able to play that dive style, but I don't think Atlanta's going to give them that in, so.
I actually have tons of faith in the Gladiators. I think it's in their hands to win this matchup, but I think that Atlanta Reign is the better team here. I'm really questioning if Gladiators have the polish required to execute these dives onto the Atlanta Reign, because when you're playing the vulnerable dive compositions, right, you got a weak Tracer, a weak Echo, etc. Can you survive and actually get the engage and then get those kills required? I don't know if Gladiators has that polish to execute good enough against the Atlanta Reign, considering the performances we've seen from Atlanta Reign in the qualifier so far.
I'm very excited to get this game on its way. So that's it from us on the desk. We once more send it over to our casters, Uber and Mr. X. Are you guys all going for the Atlanta Reign as well, or do we have some Gladiator fans in your camp?
I think the Atlanta Reign win this match. I think this is a big match for the Gladiators, though, if I'm honest. Like, we've seen the Dallas Fuel obviously go to Hawaii and put great results forward. We've now seen the Washington Justice, take a step as a team, move forward right, where we saw them play great against the Dallas Fuel, who have been